creative people, it's Sherry Dragonwagon Studio. Thank you for joining me on my channel today. I am so excited for this project. I got all this amethyst. Well, I got a lot more than that. At an amethyst mine that I recently visited in Ontario. It was pretty cool. You can go there and you just handpick amethyst that it's like literally everywhere. Everywhere is purple with amethyst. It's beautiful. Anyway, so I am gonna make another geode table. I made one a few months back with quartz, and it turned out really awesome, and I was so happy with it. So I'm gonna redo that, but with amethyst. And amethyst is such an awesome gem. It's got a lot of great properties to it, so it's really nice to have around in your home. This can be a table or a wall mount type piece, and it's going to be a lot of work. I'm going to do things a little bit differently in this one. I will not be filling in the center. Last time I filled the center in as I was thinking it'd be for a table. So I haven't really totally decided if I'm going to individually glue every single one of these on just so they stay there until we get to the resin part, or... I've been mulling this over for 2 weeks now, and it's kind of one of those projects that's really intimidating. I know it's a big project, and I'm just so scared of screwing it up. Like, I'm such a hard critique on myself. I am brutal to myself. So I just got to get in there and do it, because I know it's going to turn out awesome. But yeah, I think we're going to start with gluing at least some of them anyways, until I can get some resin in there to kind of keep them in place. So I'm going to put this silicone mat underneath. Let's get all these guys out of here. My big chunks put separately. I foresee a lot of editing in my future. Alright. There we go. So all this is just a piece of MDF, a 1/2 inch thick, that I painted with just some house paint. Nothing special on that. Super easy. Anybody can do that. Scoop these guys back in here. And these are all right off the ground with only been washed in water. Like, they're so raw. They're just such gorgeous pieces, you know? You've got some quartz in a bunch of them too. And like, here we go. Here's a chunk of quartz. Because amethyst is actually a type of quartz. So, anyway. I could play the rocks all day. There we go. So now, I'm going to use E6000. It dries pretty quick and it's pretty tough. Alright, let's just goob this up. It's another thing you can do 3D objects with this stuff. It's nice and goopy. I use it on most of my resin projects that need a little extra help sticking stuff. Just kind of to get a base down so I have something to put those big chunks on. Because these are heavy. The rocks are heavy. This is going to take a while. Don't worry, I will fast forward through all this. You guys get the idea. Wow, look at that piece. Woo-wee! Yeah. This is why it's going to take a while, because I'm going to be playing with all these pieces to gluing them. Okay. We are going to let that dry. Anybody's wondering why I don't use hot glue, it's because I hate it. I hate hot glue. It sucks. And if you watch my quartz video, you'll understand why. So I'm going to let those dry. Then we'll come back and we'll add a couple more. I'll get a couple more of the big chunks on there. And this is just to get it started, just so I have something to work with. And then we'll do our first resin pour. Yeah, once we get the resin on there, then I can really load up a lot more amethyst in there, as that'll secure it in forever. So I'll be back when that is ready. Okay guys, so now our glue is dry. We got all our little amethyst dudes hanging out there. I have got this level, and I also have a silicone tray in the bottom to catch all the resin. Because now what we are going to do is pour some resin all around the edges of our amethyst. And then we're going to put a bunch more amethyst on. So what I've done is mixed up about, what did I do here? 20 mils of resin. So just to eliminate excess resin and wasting it, it's a little thicker, and then the gems aren't actually sliding around either. They're going to stay where I put them. So I'm going to get my mask on, and we are going to add more crystals. And this should be the last step for the amethyst. And then we will do the rest of the geode and paint, not paint. And we'll pour the rest of the geode with mica powder. So, oh yeah, she's nice and thick. She's a little thick. I'm just going to go around the edge. Try not to get any on my big guys here. And again, I'm just doing this to secure the amethyst. The rest will come when we do layers of resin. All right, let's see where that gets us. Here's my little dudes. Here are my little dudes. And all I'm going to do is kind of just fill in these gaps. And just put them in there randomly. So I kind of want to just build this up. And grab a lot more depth with it. We're losing some. I also got big gaps in here that I'll fill in a little bit. The last one I did, I used crystal glass, but this one I'm going to go straight in all amethyst. And I want more of that realistic-ish kind of look. Some more in there. I'm going to keep building this up. I'm going to pour some more resin. And that is all we get out of that. That's fine. That is all we need. I'll apply a little bit of heat and get that resin kind of melting in those little crystals. There we go. So yeah, those guys are not sticking on there, but they will with the next layer. I'm just going to leave them because they do have resin on them. So once the resin dries, they will stick. They'll get layered in. Actually, I might make up some more resin. Yeah, maybe I'll make up another. So once I get the layer of color, I don't want that color kind of bleeding in too much into this. This is kind of the center focal piece. So let's try that. Okay, we got more resin made up. While I was doing that, I did notice one thing. This is way too circular. So I'm going to branch some out and kind of make an odd shape, just like the MDF board here. But let's add some more resin. I think I'm going to come out here a little bit, maybe down here. And maybe over here, since we're kind of running out there. Just so that it looks a little more natural and it's not such a placed shape. All right, that's a little better. Ooh, we got some iron on that one. This red, that's iron. That's a little better. Doesn't look so placed. Wasn't planning on putting this much amethyst on this, but here we are. Couple more guys out here maybe. Use the rest of this resin here for those little bits. So 50 milliliters of resin was the magic number on this. If any of you were curious. That is that for now. Very important. I'm going to let this sit for an hour and let this tack up and get nice and super tacky and sticky. And then I'm going to come in and fill all these little gaps. Wherever I can still see the board, I'm going to place a little bit more. They're looking pretty good. The places in like right here. So I'm going to just build that up there. But it's going to be really, really tacky and sticky to do that. So waiting an hour is that magic number where you're going to get that. And then you can stand them up like this. And they won't be falling down. with gravity. We get to do our layer of color, which is gonna be even more fun than playing with rocks. I think that's looking pretty cool. When this is cured, tomorrow we will start the next step and we'll do our first colored layer. Alright guys, I just came down to check the progress. And we got a little bit of pooling of resin, which is normal, but we had no rocks fall off. Everything is staying in place. And it looks wonderful. I am so excited for this project. Okie dokie, guys. Our resin is dry. And we only have one little drip here. So that's going to be easy to take off. And this is still, for the most part, pretty flat. I'm going to try and keep it flat. Put it on a wall if somebody wanted, but yeah. So that turned out great. Now the next step will be to layer our colors, and that's going to be super fun. So I'm going to get that all set up, and then we will pour our resin. Yay! Okay. All right, creative people. I have all my resin mixed up. So I mixed up a mauve, and these are just mica powders. So we got a mauve here. This is a rich purple combined with violet. So it's got a couple hues running through there. I did a contrasting color in coffee, just because we have browns from the earth. Some iron points in here, so that'll contrast that nice. And then my favorite, black. So we'll do that there. And I also taped around the edges. I got this propped up on cups, and I will tell you why. So I got the edges all nice and taped up to keep the resin in. They are not staying here. We will pull this off after a little bit, but first let's just get started getting this color on here. So I'm pretty pumped for this. I'll start with some clear. I'm just going to go around the edge here. Just like so. And that will start that edge. And the other color will flow into that nicely. We don't want to cover up our gems. We just want the color kind of butting up against it. Alright, so I'm going to start with the lighter color. I'm just going to slowly pour. Slowly, I said. It just wants to get out there. I mixed up 300 mils in total and kind of just divvied the colors up randomly to what I think I was going to use more versus the others. So, alright, I don't want to use all that up. We're going to use some later. I'm going to put a thin strip of black. I'm not worried about how it's pouring out there. We're going to manipulate it with a heat gun later. Alright, let's get this vibrant purple out. I'm going to throw the coffee in on the edges, just randomly. I just kind of want little highlights of it. I don't want it very prominent. I'm just going to make some random patterns. Let's get some heat on here and manipulate this a little bit. totally cook my resin. I better slow down. Slow down, lady. All right, look at that. That's pretty freaking wild, guys. That's looking pretty cool. And of course, resin does what it wants, and it will manipulate how it wants. And this can be totally different when I come back later. So very important, I am going to peel this tape off in 1 hour. Set an alarm. Don't lie to yourself and say you'll remember. That never works, ever. So I'm going to set an alarm, come back in an hour, we're going to peel this tape off, and we're going to let the color flow over the edge. Alright guys, I'm going to pull the tape. Alright, there we go. So now, I get a nice edge cover. All this is running down. Let's go around and cover up your edge, just like so. Just tell the resin where to go. Unless there's resin there, it's going to make its own path. And don't worry if it doesn't come through the first layer. We're going to do another one. So we'll fix any little dips or any areas that don't get covered. I left these here too, so you can kind of add some more. Try to get as much covered this layer as possible. This makes things easier. And that will all flow down and cover that nice edge for us so we don't have to worry about that. Whoops. And then that's going to create and pull some of that resin out this way too, and they'll still manipulate the pattern a little bit also. Wow, I really like this coffee coming out. That's really pretty. Just nice and subtle. Looks like I'm still high on this edge. I like leveled this thing so many times. Bump the table and out of whack a bit, so I'm gonna have some, already see those leveling off too much on this side. See if we can balance that out. Obviously I can't level it with my leveler, but I can tell just by the design it's pulling this way, so I'll pop that back up and level that back out a bit. But I'm not going to touch it anymore. I'm going to leave it as it is because we can always add more color in the next layer. So that is it for now. Okay guys, wow. I am so impressed with this. This came out so awesome. Like the colors in here just really swirled together nicely. I'm just in love. I could stare at this all day. I just get lost in something like this. This is why I do what I do. This is just such a gorgeous piece. So now our next steps are going to be doing a clear coat. So I'm going to do the tape method again. We're going to pour our resin in again. And on this step will be our last step to seal it all off. So I'm also going to make sure I get into a lot of these gems on this edge here with the clear coat. So I mixed up 400 over 300 this time, just so I can make sure these don't fall off later on down the road. Some of them are still a little bit loose in there, so I'll get in there really good. We'll flood this over, and then we'll go into cleaning up the bottom because we'll have to clean up all our little drips. And then we can call it a day. So, still lots to do. Let's get at it. Tapey tape time. Okay. Let's re-level this now. So my resin is ready to go. I'm just gonna mask up. Okay. A little bit of wasted resin here for sure. Okay. What a mess that was. All right. Pull the resin where you want it. Get to your edges. There's a lot pulled up there. And bring that down. One more down here. Alright, there we go. Got quite a few bubbles with that. So you're gonna get at it with the heat gun. You can also use a torch here too. Perfectly safe. As long as you're not getting too close to your tape. Let's heat this baby up. There we go. All right. Very important, 1 hour. Pull all this tape off. So we'll come back in 1 hour. And then we will clean up the bottom on the next part and sell this for millions of dollars. Or maybe not that much. But, you know, something. Alright, creative people. So we got the bottom all sanded down and painted. Did a couple coats of black on there just to finish it off. And before I do the big reveal, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button for me. Help me get my channel going. I love doing this stuff for you guys. So let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. So now we will get on with what we've been waiting for, how it looks. Ta-da! Look at that gorgeous resin mixing. Look how everything turned out. It is absolutely stunning. I am so happy the way it turned out. Oh, that light's annoying. Sorry. Just tried not to think about it. Oh, there we go. Get rid of it. I just absolutely love this so much. I don't even want to sell it, but, you know, you can't get attached to our art, otherwise we just become hoarders. Absolutely gorgeous. I am so happy with this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm also going to be doing something a little weird in my next video, so make sure you subscribe and get that notification. New videos every week. And yeah, stay creative, people. Ciao!